Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another GC Crypto episode. Special time back today, 4 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, obviously, and 12 a.m. for our American viewers over that side of the world. So, absolute privilege to be with you this afternoon. But obviously, we got the co-host Craig, as we normally do, and special guest Seedphrase, a fellow Aussie as well. So, 3 Aussies on stream today. That'll be a little bit different.
Aussie.
Yes, doing it, painting in blue. Let's do it.
I love it. Well, obviously, we'll dive straight into the conversation today, guys. And Craig and I might stick on after Seedphrase leaves to do a little bit of a market recap and touch base around Aussie CryptoCon, which we'll be both speaking at next weekend. So excited for that one. But obviously, behind the scenes, guys, obviously, if you haven't heard of who Seedphrase is, I don't know where you've been. He's one of the most well-known, probably, let's say crypto punks, but obviously entrepreneurs, etc. In the crypto space. He's obviously been an OG, bought Bitcoin way back, turned 4K into 10 million or something plus, I've read. And
I guess.
I mean, that's the goal of every crypto investor and trader, isn't it? And then obviously the very reputable CryptoPunk 8348 as well. Grow a DJ as well, I've read, and obviously now fuses Web3 with fashion, music, and generative art as well. So, mate, absolute pleasure to have you on today. And recently acquired Wolf Game, which has and is about to be live on Abstract. So that's, again, another reason we're catching up today. But obviously, mate, thank you so much for jumping on with Craig and I.
Really appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Craig, mate, how are you going this fine? What day is it? Thursday afternoon?
Yeah, man, Thursday. No, I'm good, dude. We're just talking offline. I'm a bit flushed today. I was mowing the lawn outside. I was just telling these guys boring chat. But yeah, mowing the lawn in the sun, but I'm good, dude. Bitcoin's pumping. Well, wouldn't say pumping, but it's above 100.
It's finally at 103 again. Holy, I've watched the charts there. It's been so frustrating.
And I see the US government's open, so we can all cheers to that. Probably don't know if that'll change much, but I guess it's positive news, right? But look, the main news is we've got Seedphrase in today, which is pretty cool. Been following him a while, obviously Wolf.game, and following that a while. So yeah, feeling pretty privileged to have him here today. So Seedphrase, thanks for jumping on the show, brother.
No, excited to be here and to chat all things Wolf Game and art, fashion, music, whatever you guys want to cover today. I'm excited.
Well, we always like to start with, like, where were you when you discovered crypto? But what did you do before crypto? How are you ready to leave whatever you were doing in, say, let's call it Web 2, and then translate holistically over across to Web 3?
Yeah, look, like, I'm now 35. When I discovered crypto, I was 23. So it was early 2013. So I was only a student. I was at university, actually at the University of the Sunshine Coast. So nearby to where you guys are. And, I was studying psychology. And, at the time I had this really bad procrastination habit. I would never do any of my assignments, never study for my exams. And, I discovered this BBC article about Bitcoin. It was like the Cypriot crisis at the time. The banks were raiding people's bank accounts, and just instantly fell in love with with the idea of like being your own bank account, right? Having full control over your money. So that's really what got me into it. But it wasn't really until 2017 where I really got the confidence to go full time in crypto, because between the peak in late 2013 and then between 2017, crypto was pretty grim. There was a lot of FUD and fear, and people weren't really sure if this was ever going to take off or not. I didn't even know if it was going to take off or not. It was just a side thing that I was doing while I was studying, and thought worst case, I'd become a psychologist, or at that point by 2017, I was actually in law school, so I was actually studying law. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll become a lawyer. And then we got that big 2017 rise that maybe some of your viewers now know today, and that was really what gave me the confidence to go full time. And my big bag at the time was actually Ripple. That was really the moment where I broke out, right? I went from just being a student, pretty much a broke student, to actually making some pretty significant money and some good bets. So that was really it. And then obviously we saw CryptoPunks and CryptoKitties launch in 2017, but there was just so many scams at the time. There was ICO mania. A lot of people were coming up with their own ideas on these white papers, light papers, and everything. So I kind of dismissed it at first, but by the time the dust settled in 2018, I circled back. I was like, these punks like kind of cool. There's this, project coming out called Axie Infinity that, was doing a land sale. You could also breed these Axies just like, CryptoKitties. So then I just like deep dove into that. I was like, you know what, like crypto's fun, but, JPEGs and images and, so much more fun, right?
Yeah, for sure. Craig?
Yeah, I was going to ask, because I was listening to an interview with you earlier today. Not that you did it today, you did it a while back, but you were early Bitcoin 2013. And I think you mentioned you had a love of strategy games, Age of Empires.
Oh, man, I love strategy games.
Like your backstory was the same as mine. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm a bit of a nerd like that. Like, I used to play Call of Duty when I was a teenager at school, and, Call of Duty 4. Such a great game back then. Yeah. But like the one, consistent in my entire life has always been strategy games. I've spent maybe hundreds and hundreds of hours playing Age of Empires 2 in particular. And also Warcraft 3 as well. So I always had a big love for like strategy. That's just like sort of like how I like to, spend my time. Even today, I still play Polytopia here and there as well. Like I just like, for me, it's just like that simplified sort of like, mechanic of, overcoming or outwitting your opponents, right?
Yeah, and is that what led you, do you think, into your sort of love for Axie, or not your love for Axie, but your understanding of what the potential could be for Axie?
Yeah, I think the big thing about Axie and crypto gaming that really drew me in, like I wasn't really looking for like, let's say a Call of Duty with crypto rails. It was more an economy, right? Like that's why, at one time I was the largest landholder of, Axie Infinity lands, right? So like, and I love the idea of owning the land, owning the resources that people need to buy to be able to build within this game world. So let's say, you need some wood to turn into timber, and then that timber turns into, let's say, a pub or a tavern or something, right? Or you need to collect some stone, you need to turn that stone into something, right? So this is really what drew me in. Like I don't know what it is, but I really love like economics. And this was something that, I really fell in love with. It's like, I guess like, there's a bit of, I guess like strategy around that too, right? Like which resources are you going to mine, and, which locations will you buy into? It's just like anything that like almost like replicates the real world, like we see that, day in, day out, like we see this all the time, people buying properties for, very specific reasons, whether that's to create apartments or, commercial properties, and, what kind of yield can they get from that land or that property, right? So, this is something that really, resonated with me with Axie and, going forth, with, other games as well that had like, in-game economies.
That's I love that. I mean, I wish I had the time to play games these days. I was like so early to Fortnite. I played COD throughout my primitive years of college when I was studying at uni. Like I wasted so much time just playing games with mates, FIFA and all that. So yeah, I love it. I mean, strategy as well, like Catan, great board game. Love strategy. So
fantastic.
I mean, it just gives you so many good memories as well. So now let's touch on that though. Like where do you think the future of gaming sort of lies with crypto? Like how do we make it really seamless? I think the biggest issue I still see is it's so obvious when something is crypto, right? Yeah. I think as soon as something becomes innovative where it's not obvious that it's crypto, but it is, in like whether it's the tech or whether it's the in-game currencies, whatever it is, that maybe is the secret sauce to being the next juggernaut sort of game that comes out of Web3.
Well, yeah, like, so the thing is, like, it needs to make sense, right? Like, like these in-game economies with crypto, that makes sense because, you need to tokenize, the currency that is being used in-game. You potentially need to also tokenize like the resources as well. These resources also need to be floated, right? So they need to have some kind of like value. I don't really necessarily yet believe in like, let's say like there's like AAA titles that people are trying to build. Let's say like, a shooting game that like integrates crypto like in any meaningful manner. Like, we already have, Counter-Strike and skins, right? And people can just buy these with dollars. Like you don't really need a token for that. Like it's kind of cool that you can be able to play this game and also earn a token as well. But having like deep crypto integration, like you need like an actual like, economy. And also like you just can't compete, right? Like you just can't like, there's very much a difference between like, let's say like a AAA title in crypto gaming compared to an actual AAA title with billions of dollars behind it, right? Like there's a huge difference there. And the thing is, if I'm just playing a game for fun, like I'm just firing up my PlayStation. I'm not
Yes.
I'm not going to be like, like farming on a, this like, game that feels like it's back, from, I don't know, like 2010 or something like that. Right. Like, there's so many great new games out today. Like, Battlefield 6 comes to mind as well.
I know. Yeah.
So this doesn't make sense to me, but like, economies, ecosystems, like playing together, communities, this is what makes the most sense to me for now, right? Like maybe that changes in the next like 3 to 5 years, and I'm sure it will, but currently, like you just can't compete, with, what is available today.
I think one of the good things with, and I think this is probably what interested you, I think in Axie, is the arbitrage opportunities. You mentioned the resources and that. And I think someone like me, and you sort of hit the nail on the head, I don't think crypto gaming at the moment can compete, definitely, well, not graphically, with, I mean, I've got a son, he's 9 years old. We just started playing Fortnite. We just started playing The Simpsons Fortnite, right? That's just a beautiful game, dude. It's so good. Like,
exactly.
We're a long way from that. But I certainly get almost as much out of a kick out of a crypto game if I can get an arbitrage opportunity where I'm working in a community earning real money. Because look, Fortnite Simpsons is great. But at the end of the day, I have a drink, chill with my son, we kill some people, I get killed, I rage quit. That's kind of how that goes. But it's kind of cool to play a different kind of game where you still got to use your brain a little bit anyway, but it's in a sort of different kind of way and kind of mathematically pull things apart. E.g., your game, I guess, as a user of your game, I've kind of got to go in there and kind of break it apart and try and think how I can outthink the dev, the other players, and that sort of thing, and then get a financial boost from that, which also gives that dopamine hit as well. So I think people probably game for different reasons as well. And I think it's quite interesting how crypto gaming is bringing the ability to earn money to it, which is great.
I agree. And like, I think it's also, as you said, it's like, how can you, find your own sort of like advantage, right? And like, how do you strategize to outcompete? And like, this even brings me back to the early Wolf game days. I noticed, especially in Valley, people would be, mining resources, grass, wood, water, stone. And, these resources are useful, for different things. Some might need to build a bathhouse with it. Some people might need to build a barn, or maybe you need to build a structure up on the peak, right? And what underpins the entire game is energy. So when I first got into Wolf game, I bought, a good percentage of all the bathhouses, and I just started, a bathhouse operation, and that's all I did, right? And I called it Swap Shop because we didn't have jugs at the time, so you had to actually put your sheep into a bathhouse. You like, depending on the structure's level as well, like it could take up to 30 days before you get your sheep back to then continue. So I was like, how do we speed this up? So what I did is, like, with my network of bathhouses, I was like in the background recharging all of the sheep. Once they were ready, fully charged, I had like a website that people could go to, and you'd go to this website and you can instantly swap your depleted sheep for fully charged sheep just for a fee. Right. So again, like, that's how, like, outsmarting other players and finding your edge. Right. So again, it comes back to like my, my strategic mind, from like all these like strategy games I was playing back in the day. And, it's like, how can you like outcompete or go outside of the box of like, what the game is actually trying to like tell you to do. Right. So that's just like one example of like, all these like little, like, very interesting sort of like, niches that you can find like within these game worlds.
It reminds me, sorry, Granny, just with Wolf Games specifically, I think they were collaborated, we're going back a bit here with 10KTF in 23, I think it was, 23, 24, and you could get the wearables and all that. I don't know if
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
And that was similar in the way that it wasn't actually a game, but you'd go on adventures, you'd stake items, and you would earn ape coin from doing those things. Dude, it was cool, man. And on Friday, it was my Friday in Australia, it was Thursday night for Americans. We'd all be in the Discord, and there'd be a DJ in there, and it was very unique, man. I've got to say, for a game that wasn't actually a playable game, it was some of my best memories with NFTs, and more to do with the community that formed. And what you said, you ran bathhouses. We were doing the same thing there. Yeah. Where there might be someone with heaps of blank socks or blank T-shirts, and you'd be swapping with people in sneakers and stuff. it was cool, dude, and I certainly got a dopamine hit from it. So I think even though crypto gaming isn't quite at that A++ level yet graphically, it's certainly got. I think it's starting to get to that like hook people,
Yes.
and people can actually have fun rather than I'm just farming, which can be quite boring.
Tedious. Exactly. No, I absolutely agree. Like, bringing back those vibes again. And like, it's interesting because, we obviously saw peak vibes in 2021, 2022. And then like the last couple of years have been a little dismal, but like the whole market's been dismal unless you've been in meme coins, right? But, I feel like we're really starting to see that resurgence, especially on abstract.
Yeah. Well, for sure. I mean, there's so many points that I want to talk about. We'll start with the first one because that was the conversation we were just having before. We've interviewed a few founders over the time. Dith from Gigaverse a couple of times as well. Absolute legend. I don't know if you guys know each other as well. But thinking around strategy, do you hypothesize absolutely at all ends the different opportunities, the different paths, the different combinations, what Green is going to do, but what Craig's going to do? Like, talk to us a little bit about that sort of psychology of like, and then obviously the coding or whatever has to follow up around those sort of things.
Yeah, look, obviously there's a lot of, like human behavior that you have to somewhat predict, because, a lot of the decisions that you make, especially in these crypto games, like, it can actually be game breaking, right? If you suddenly, launch an update and, it's somehow, imbalanced, you've got a huge issue. So like we have a quant on our team. So like, whenever we do make any kind of decisions, especially when it comes to, the ecosystem, even like, supplies, anything like that, like we always run it through the quant, and like, he mathematically like will actually do all of like the different scenarios. Even right now, like with like cave games, like with our rewards that we're giving people for caves on the leaderboard, and we had to like speak to him first. We're like, look, like, does this make sense in the long term? Can we maintain this? Like, is this going to cause too much inflation? There's also these other various factors. For example, we've already burnt over 100 million wool, which is about over 17% of all circulated wool in the first month of Valley being live, right? So, when you take all of this into account, and then once we get like that, like sort of like tick of approval, then we can obviously like, one, push that live, and then also like, then communicate that as well.
Yeah, no, that's epic. I love that. I mean, that's the side I love hearing about too. Just how like incredibly smart some bloody people are. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. Following up on that, what are your thoughts around, again, let's zoom out a little bit further, then we can zoom back into gaming. What are your thoughts around NFTs? And like, obviously digital IP is massive. We've seen Pudgy Penguins really dominate this cycle. We're seeing Moonbirds more recently with Spencer's acquisition sort of catch up a little bit. But then we've seen Anime token launch. We've seen obviously Ape token launch last cycle, which really has sort of destroyed maybe the value of NFTs as speculative assets. Therefore, that puts more premium on, say, a Moonbird more recently because they don't have a TGE yet. But then, like, you obviously have the tech around, say, tickets and in-game items that are NFTs potentially as well. So I'd love to hear what your point of view is as someone who obviously is an early collector, but someone who's also building a game that has NFT base.
Yeah, look, like I think, the last few years in NFTs, like, it's been rough, right? And that was to be expected. What we saw in 2021 and 2022, this was like peak mania. Like celebrities, everyone were like, getting into this space. And like, the thing is, like, I just feel like if you haven't yet established yourself yet, such as like CryptoPunks, CryptoPunks, they don't need a token, they don't need utility, they don't need anything. It's a CryptoPunk, right? Like, it's like a bit tech, right? You instantly will know what this is, what it signifies. It's a digital flex. And I've always said this from the moment that I bought one. But for a lot of these like other collections that are still trying to break out, I think Pudgy Penguins has done an incredible job under Luca's guidance, being able to sort of like break out and actually become quite a dominant force, and like especially like in the IP race, especially with, when we're talking about other collections as well. When you look at Doodles and Burbs, and a few others that are really trying to like break out, Pudgy's is definitely one that's like stood out right amongst the pack. And when it comes to these tokens, associated, I feel like right now, just purely because of the environment that we're in, it's not just about partnerships, and it's not just about the IP. We've seen that with Doodles. Like, they've got some incredible partnerships. Like, they are on paper doing everything right, but the floor price does not reflect that at all, right? And then you have these tokens associated with these projects, and look, like, there's a few projects that came out with tokens that were purely just like memes. Like, they had no real like sort of like intrinsic value. They had no utility tied to them. It was purely just like a like a good vibe, right? It was all about the vibes. And look, like, whether or not like that will succeed, I'm not sure. Like, it's still so early, right? Like, I think there definitely is a place for them. Like, especially like when meme coin mania was really hot, like, obviously made a lot of sense to do this. But I really, me being a fundamentalist and, someone that loves utility, like, I really believe that, if you are launching a token, with a collection, it needs to have some kind of utility, like whether that is in-game utility, or whether that's IRL utility, whether that's some kind of like burn, right? Like, that's what we're doing with Wool. It's like, we're not going to TGE Wool without, like a solid plan in place, right? We're going to make sure that those burns are happening frequently, transparently. We're going to be introducing staking soon as well. So, lock up a lot of tokens. And we're going to, be doing some like, really cool events, and, have some very cool like perks and benefits as well associated with that. So, like, I feel like that is kind of like where we're drifting, and we're sort of seeing that in the broader market as well, right? Like, I feel like we're seeing more of a shift towards utility and less on just like, let's call them just like memes, right? And I think we're going to continue to see that in the coming years as well, as there's a lot of like meme exhaustion in the market currently.
Yeah, I would agree there. Craig?
I'm going to ask a noob question here. It's pretty embarrassing to ask the founder of the Seedphrase. Has Wolf launched the token?
Yeah, so let me explain. So basically, when Wolf Game launched in 2021, there was a Wool token, and the original shepherd, would always talk about, Wool will burn. And, the community really rallied around this. And, it was definitely, a centerpiece of why you wanted to own Wool, because, the burns were basically going to outstrip any kind of like, supply coming into the market. But the thing is, like, over the years and, over, a couple of acquisitions that didn't go so well and weren't so successful, which is then also what prompted me this year to take it over, because being a longtime fan, holder, gamer, in Wolf Game, it was really, disappointing to like, see where it was going, considering the potential that it had. And one thing that, I really loved about Wolf Game and the community was that even though the game had been offline for an entire year, I would go into the Discord maybe like once a week, and you would still see people in the Discord being like, when is the game coming back online? Like, where are my sheep? Where are my wolves? Like, when can I play again? And I think that's quite unique, because it showed that like, the game didn't fail because people lost interest. The game failed because of the leadership, right? So when I took it over, we had a lot of, let's say, like, baggage to take on as well, right? Like, we were kind of like taking on, a game that had been live for many, many years. There was a lot of like, people who had also left the community as well, which meant there was like, a lot of like, let's say, empty structures, and like a lot of like old like wool holders and things like that, and also like how the wool had been distributed in the past, was insane, to be honest. Like, just to be frank, it was insane. Like, I think they unleashed, I think it was like over 5% of the entire supply in like 1 month, through the Caves program last year, Blast Caves, and I'm just looking at these figures. I'm like, how can we realistically, inject, value into this, right? Like, there was just so much inflation and bad decisions. We had to make a big decision, upon, taking it over. So, what I did was that, we've basically taken Wool offline. We basically did like a migration airdrop to the old, Wool holders. We've completely redone the tokenomics. We've redone, even like the in-game utility. So like that's why we're seeing like such big burns currently. So like within 1 month of Valley being live, we saw over 17% of all circulating wool being burned. So that tells me instantly like the decisions that we've made are correct, right? And that's what like we really want to also like lean in on as well, like that ethos of wool will burn. And in the past, Shep and other owners of the game, they kept saying this, but wool wasn't burning, it wasn't burning fast enough. Like we really want to make this a scarce asset. So we made a lot of decisions to like change it up a little bit, but in the process we had to migrate wool to a new wool that's not currently tradable. It's not on chain. So when people are playing on caves or in Valley, this wool represents like a pre-TGE wool. So there is no current value until we TGE, which is looking to be Q1 of 2026. Ooh, and do TGE, we're going to have exchanges lined up. We're going to have market makers. Like the last wool never even made it onto an exchange. I did hear that it was going to potentially be on Binance back then, but the original Shep was anonymous. So, he wouldn't dox himself to put it on Binance. This was like peak Wolf game, by the way. Like this was when
that would have been, dude, man.
Gary V, his brother AJ were playing. Like, G Money was playing. Like this was peak Wolf game, right? Like this was like, when Wolves were selling for like 10 ETH each, Sheep 1 ETH. They were doing tens of millions of dollars in volume, and and there was an opportunity to go on Binance, but the Shepherd wouldn't dox. So that's why we need to do it differently this time. There is a docs founder behind the projects now. We're very much going to be running this the right way.
I remember, Greenie, you and I have spoken about this as well with Wolf.game, that I came into crypto in 21, Greenie was before me, as a little bit earlier, 16, 17, I think. I was priced out. So it's kind of interesting for me. It's kind of like, it's quite surreal having you on the conversation now, because I remember when I first came in, green-eyed, February 21, I was like, I'm an ex-comic collector, card collector. So for me, NFTs made so much sense to me quite quickly. Yeah. I was still retarded enough not to mint Bored Apes, but I think we probably all had that story. Even though I think I'm smart. I wasn't that smart. But I remember Wolf.game. I remember when it came out, well, not came out, but when it was pumping, man, and I couldn't even afford to get in. And that's why I was quite interested when it was migrating more recently. It was kind of like, I thought it was kind of cool that a game that had got so hyped back then had perhaps another chance to do it properly. Because I think in 21, I think a lot of founders came in with maybe a good idea, but just didn't have the technical nous. Even like for me, I'm a lot older now than I was there, which was 5 years ago. I'm a lot more experienced now in crypto itself, better trader. I think a lot of founders came in 21 and didn't know really how to run a company, especially when it became worth millions of dollars. Like they would have caught me off guard. Like if I produced some art and all of a sudden there were these collectors going, well, what's next? And the asset was worth 10,000 US each. I'd actually be shitting my pants, to put it lightly, and I'd probably offload it as well. Like,
you see that all the time, right? Like, you get like a lot of these, like, let's call them like, there's like crypto devs. They just like spin up a great idea. It takes off. Like even recently, this year, like, we saw with Bitcoin on Abstract, the original Satoshi, great idea, virtual mining. And it completely, probably, very much exceeded his expectations of, where this would potentially go. And I think he just like freaked out. He was like, oh crap, like what I've created is like this like multi-million-dollar behemoth, and then he sort of like, had to step down from that. And like, I think we saw, we've seen that many times before, but also, with Wolf Game as well. Like, you have these devs, big brains, they know how to, like to produce, to make a product that's, fun and addictive that people are going to love, but they don't know how to like execute in a lot of ways. And they don't have like the same like business sense mentality as well, right? If I was the Shepherd back in 2021 and Binance is coming to me like, hey, we want to list wool on Binance, that's like a sure shot. Like, if I'm Anon, like I am now doxed. I'm doxed from yesterday. So like, it's just like different mentality. And that's what, Wolf Game needed. It needed like a breath of fresh air. It needed someone to like come in there with, the right mindset, who understands, like this side of business, to like take it over and to be able to like build this, in the right way this time, right? Like, you're not on like all this speculation and on this hype. Like, when people come in, they're going to learn about it. It's just going to click for them. And then they're just going to jump in and have some fun. And that's really like the crux of it. And also our community as well. Like, our Discord is always pumping. There's so many people jumping in, asking questions. It's really nice to see.
I love hearing that.
How did you feel taking it over? Have you felt a lot of pressure? This is probably a really stupid question, but A, what was the pressure like? And B, how did you deal with the pressure of expectations?
Yeah, like, to be honest, like, I had a few people reach out to me and they were like, well, like, do you want to be, taking over a project that's, potentially dead? And I said to them, like, look, like, I don't feel that pressure. I don't really have any expectations, because I'm going in this, thinking like, well, at the end of the day, like, I'm going in with the right intentions. I'm going to be giving this 110% of like my time and effort. Like, all I've been doing for the last like 3 days since Caves launched was just this, like Discord, podcasts, streams, like, this is all I've been doing. So I'm going to put all of my effort into this. If I do fail, like, at the end of the day, like, this game was dead in the water anyway, right? So at least we've had like a chance of like rebirth. And like, I have enough confidence in what we're doing to be able to take this on. Like, I wouldn't be wasting my time, effort, energy if I didn't think I could do this, right? I think I'm very well placed, very, well connected in this space, like, even to get on Abstract, this was just like a phone call to Luca, and I was like, hey, let's get this on Abstract. I'm about to take this over. I think this would be a perfect fit, for the platform that you're building. And it was done, right? So like, I'm very confident in like, how I can like, approach this in a more like meaningful sense. And yeah, like I never really felt like this like sort of like pressure of expectations, because, it's just a matter of like just getting in there and just getting gritty.
No, perfect answer. No, that's great. I'm actually just going to cop. Is the best way to get involved a Gen 2 Wolf game, Sheep?
Hold on, we'll get to that. Hold on, before we get there.
I just saw mog glasses. I really want to buy them.
Yeah, you got to get the mugs.
Before we get there, why Abstract and why now? Let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about specifically the game, how to get started, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, sure. So like, the thing with Abstract, I've been obviously following, Luca for many, many years now. He actually also was a Wolf game player back in the day. I actually had no idea until I spoke to him. And, I've been following their progress for, quite some time now, and really happy with their approach, right? Like, I think the one big barrier to entry for, let's call them like, normies or people who aren't familiar with crypto, is like how they even like, get a wallet, for example. Like, there's a lot of like barriers to entry there, right? And the way that Abstract is thinking about this is like, let's make this like very simple. It's just a couple of clicks and you suddenly have a wallet. There's no, anything else. You don't even have to save a seed phrase or anything, right? It's just like, it's almost like signing up for an email account. So that was really like the big thing, like, their sort of like way that they're approaching it. It was a big draw card for me. Obviously, Abstract XP, also a big one, because it's just nice to have like that additional perk, right? Especially the community, being involved, like having that early sort of like availability to to be able to participate in the upcoming Abstract TGE, big bonus. So these were really like the two main reasons. Another reason was that we just had to get it off Ethereum mainnet, because any action that you did within the game, let's say if you wanted to build a structure such as a barn or a bathhouse, this would take like a couple of minutes. The bathhouse may cost you like over $100 in ETH just to create it. And it just wasn't efficient, and it wasn't a great user experience. So like, being on Abstract, everything is practically gasless. Like, it doesn't cost you very much at all. It's instant. This was also like, something that we were thinking about was like, bringing it to an L2. So that's why that made sense. And then, and lastly, it's just like the support that we've received from the Abstract team. Like, this is very much, high up on the list as well. So, we want to build on a chain that offers, great support. And like, I have to say that the Abstract team, have been incredible in this department. You know, we have a big group chat with all of them. They're very responsive. They're very helpful. We have multiple calls with them every week. And it's just like really fantastic to like feel like that you're actually appreciated and that you have that support there as well for like for your needs to be heard, right? So that was a big aspect. And then also how Abstract is tracking. It really is becoming a gaming chain, right? We're seeing like some of the biggest crypto gaming hits currently are all on Abstract. It has such a thriving community. You tweet about Abstract or you tweet about XP, and you have like hundreds or even thousands of people responding, engaging, liking, commenting. So they've just done a very good job of like fostering a really diehard community. So a lot of reasons, but like these would probably be my top.
No, I love that. I mean, like Craig and I have been on Abstract pretty much since the beginning. So since about February. So we've been streaming on there for a long time. We took part in the ecosystem. I ran up 6 figures of meme coins and round tripped most of that. So it's been crazy. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Craig just I was gonna steal the mog off you, but you bought it before I could move.
I just grabbed 3 because I'm making up for my men's on when I only bought 1 big pudgy instead of 3. I'm buying 3 of these sheep this time.
I love that.
I'm making that same mistake.
I love that.
I've got a Luffy looking guy as well. I've got some cool ones.
They're so fun, the sheep. Like the generation 0s and the generation 1s. Like they're sort of like kind of just like black, white, gray, brown, but the G2s, like they're so funky. They've all got all different colors. There you go. Like they've got great like little traits on them, different caps, hats, sunglasses, earrings. You've got some mogs in there as well, which is fantastic. But like this is like if you want to get involved in Valley, like this is really like your best starter. This is like really like if you just want to like test out the game, you can buy a G2 for not very much. Like it's about $70 exactly. So like you can buy for like $70 and you can get involved instantly. So like you can get into the Valley, you can start collecting resources, you can sell these resources for wool. You can also just if you wanted to just really optimize for wool, like you can also burn these sheep as well, right? So like sheep in game, to be able to breed the wolves, they need chops. And the only way to get chops is by burning the sheep. So what you can do is you can actually burn the sheep. You'll get obviously wool because the sheep are covered in wool, but you also get chops as well. And the chops you can either convert into wool, you can hold the chops to speculate, or you can then use those chops to then breed wolves. So they have a lot of utility, right? Like you can either play with them, you can chop them. You can't breed with the G2s. You can only breed with the G0s and the G1s because they're the ones that obviously breed the G2s. But like this is how we scale, right? Like we want like a cheaper entry level collection for people to be able to just like buy and to get involved in Valley. So that is the big one here.
What is the purpose of the wolves then? You made mention of the wolves.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do? They eat the sheep?
Kind of. So like they actually kind of do. So basically you've got the Valley, and then on the Valley you collect resources. So you have wood, you have water, you have stone, you have grass, and then these resources all have utility within the game, whether or not you need to build a bathhouse, which is primarily stone and water, or if you need to build a barn, which is primarily wood and stone. And you also have silos in the game, which can also like then boost your community, which then boosts your like collecting rate as well. And these silos require resources, so you stack them full of like either grass, woods, stone, and water. So while the sheep are collecting, while they're breeding, the wolves, they all live on the peak. And basically what they can do is they can come down from the peak, and their way of collecting resources is by looting the sheep. So basically what they can do is they can loot the sheep for what they're currently holding if they haven't yet been claimed, or they can also go into the barns and raid them and try and steal the G2 sheep. And basically, and there's like a little mini game that determines whether the wolf will steal the sheep or not. And if the sheep is successful, like defending itself, the G2 will actually have a bite mark out of the side of it. So some of the G2s you actually see will have bite marks in them, and that's because a wolf unsuccessfully tried to steal the sheep. And then you've got different alpha levels with the wolves as well, which then also determines the outcomes. So you've got alpha level 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, you're going to be less successful. Alpha level 8 is like the big dogs. They have a much higher chance of success, when they are looting sheep, when they're raiding barns. So again, a lot of game theory. There's it's great to there's a living, breathing ecosystem, right? So, there's a lot of different ways to play wolf game, or you can just do a very passive way as well, such as myself. I just bought land because land collects taxes. You also set tax rates. And then also, you can have structures, right? So I can build my structures, and then, you can rent these structures out to people. So I have a barn. I just saw today, someone used my barn and they paid me a fee to use that barn to breed a G2 sheep, right? So, you can do that with barns. You can also breed the sheep yourself. So then you can just become like a breeder. And that's also something that I used to do as well, because I would just breed to accumulate chops, because, chops have a lot of value in the in-game exchange. Or you can just be a bathhouse owner, and you either use that to provide your own animals with free energy, or you can rent that out to other players, and you can also earn a fee for this. So the great thing about wolf game is there's so many different ways you can play, and depending on your play style, are you going to be more active and be like a wolf, be more passive like myself and just be a land owner or a structure owner, right? Offer services. So that's really the crux of Valley, and the depth of the ecosystem itself.
So the wolves, just quickly before Greeny jumps in. So if I go with the wolf way, I can steal wool off other people, other players.
Yeah. So the wolves, they can steal resources from the sheep that are collecting, or they can raid barns. And if they successfully steal a G2, they can burn that G2 and they can get wool for it, and chops. Or they can then just use the G2 because it comes fully charged, right? So people look how they can optimize here. So what they could do is they steal the G2. You can then collect resources with the G2 until you've depleted the energy, and then you can burn it. So then you're actually getting a much greater return as well, because suddenly you have all these resources. Now you have chops once you burn it, and then you also have wool for it as well. And then you can just convert all of that into wool if you think wool's going to go higher or lower, or you can just keep that all into certain resources. Maybe people, for example, used to speculate on water because bathhouses. Well, we were going through almost an energy crisis within the game, so a lot of players were building bathhouses. But to build bathhouses, you needed a lot of water, right? So the water price in game was exploding. So people were then starting to buy the water to speculate on the price of water.
Dude, they're so okay. All right, you've got me.
Yeah, I know.
This is like the inner strategy nerd in me, right? This is why I was initially so attracted to wolf game, because it's very complex at first, but we have a wallpaper on the website that you can obviously read through. That it does a very good job of explaining all the in-game mechanics. Obviously jumping into the Discord, asking questions. We have a lot of, veteran players who have been playing this now for years, who have all different types of strategies and how to, best dominate this game. But no one strategy is going to, outperform the other, right? It just really depends on your play style. There's a couple of, members, in our community who, love playing as wolves, and they have a huge wolf pack, but it's a very, very active strategy. You want to be on there almost daily, because you're going to be trying to find the fattest sheep. You're looking for a sheep that has been collecting for a long time. It's presumably has a lot of resources on it. And then you're going to target it, and then you're going to try and take those resources, right? And then you can turn those resources into wool. So in a way, you are sort of, looting for wool as well.
So is there a leaderboard that you're tracking for the point system, and then obviously wool as well? Okay. Is that public, or is that all internal?
Yeah. So we have two leaderboards. We have a Valley leaderboard. So certain actions within Valley will actually give you leaderboard points. And that's just us like incentivizing certain actions, right? For example, we want builders who are wanting to build structures, for example. So if you go to go down,
hold on, let me just.
it's great, isn't it?
Oh my god.
So on the right hand side is the third option down. More down.
This one. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Sounds real loud, Rennie.
Oh, dude, I swear I turned it down.
Yeah, that's better.
There we go.
There we go. So it is beautiful music, but it might just be a bit loud.
Yeah, maybe not for the pod, but yeah, like so. There you go. So that's the Valley leaderboard. So you can see the weekly prize pool there is 5 million wool, and and you have like a Valley score and a peak score. So like like people who play, this is a whole other aspect of wolf game. There's actually a peak where the wolves live, so you can breed your wolves there, you can recharge your wolves there. But there's also peak games. So you can actually play like card games and tug of wool and all of these other like fun like peak games as well. Like participating in these peak games or building peak structures will give you peak points. But participating in Valley, such as building Valley structures, collecting and other things as well, will give you Valley points. So there you go. So I'm currently 37. I'm not doing very good this week, just purely because we've been so focused on Cave Game. But you can see that we've structured it in a way where when you are participating, obviously there's a lot of like perks and benefits of like running your own strategy, but it's like an additional like bonus on top of what you're doing within the game world.
That's so cool.
Am I right? There's only about 3 blocks of land for sale, Granny.
No, I think that's the Ethereum collection. And I wanted to clarify that, Seedphrase. Yeah. Is it this is the Valley land that we should be buying, not the Ethereum?
Valley. So like you'll see that this is on Abstract.
Yes.
So there's an old Ethereum collection as well that you can still buy from, but the thing is it's very tricky to find it. The one that has the 3 on it is not the right collection. There's a different one. I wouldn't even be able to provide you the link. But the safest way to buy land in the game is just to go to the Abstract collection, because that is verified. That is going to credit you with the land that you're purchasing. So you can see that all the lands have different resources on them. So some lands, just let's say for example that one, that's just stone and grass. But there's other lands that have wood, water, and grass, right? So depending on again, for me, I personally need a lot of stone and water for my bathhouses that I'm building. So I usually optimize to buy lands that have primarily stone and water on them, because you also earn a small tax from that land as well. So that's the benefit of those lands. But one thing that people don't really realize is that you can set the tax rate from the lands as well. So the more lands you have, the greater power you have in the voting mechanism of setting the taxes. And I should say, one collection that we have completely passed over, again, another strategy within the game. Again, this is very in depth. Are the farmers. So you have obviously the sheep, you have the wolves, you have the generation 2s, you have the land, but then you also have the farmers. And think of the farmers as basically a boost. So they can protect your sheep. So when I said to you that wolves can loot sheep for their resources, so farmers actually have actions where they can actually protect the sheep for let's say up to 24 hours. So you have a lot of these farmer actions as well. You can also boost for resources through the farmers as well. So they're definitely something that's overlooked, I would say, but they actually are very, very useful. If you have a big farming operation and you don't want to be looted, these farmers do a really good job of protecting your sheep so they don't get looted and you can just sleep well at night. But also if you need resources, you can also rinse them for their resource perk as well. And then they have a cooldown, obviously, so you can't keep doing it. And then depending on which farmer it is, whether it's a big daddy, that's going to have the smallest cooldown compared to, let's say, a diesel, which is going to have a much larger cooldown.
That Big Daddy farmer looks sick, dude. I saw one on the Ethereum collection. I was like, I've got to get one of those, man.
These are proper these are proper farmers. They've been doing well on the farm. You can tell they've been eating a lot of chops and drinking a lot of beer. And
looks like me.
They've been very prosperous.
Okay, two questions. Well, first is not a question, but you should update the the link to the abstract on the website too for the
So we
game.
haven't done this yet.
So
Let me make a note. Does that go to the old one?
Yes.
Yeah,
Got it. Making a note of it now.
That's all right. And second question is obviously, as we alluded to earlier, this is on Abstract, and Abstract XP is being collected by gamers, streamers, meme coin traders, liquidity providers, etc. I assume, obviously, by going up the leaderboard in the games on Wolf Game, you'll earn more XP per week. Is that safe to assume?
So exactly. So basically, like on both on the Valley leaderboard and also on the Caves leaderboard, you will also get XP allocation. Obviously, on Caves, the allocation is going to be a lot higher because like we're viewing this as like our flagship product, whereas Valley is more, for like the diehard, Wolf Game fans. We will eventually blend the two together. So like, for example, we're already doing this in a way where you can actually find cave credits in Valley. So when you're collecting resources with sheep, you can randomly sometimes find a cave credit, and so that will actually then give you obviously a free go in caves. But we're going to make that a lot more like interconnected in the future, where like jugs like from like energy will be used in caves. So we're building out a new PvP mode, which will actually require NFTs. And then also we're going to also add utility for resources in the new Caves PvP mode as well. The current Caves Dig and Dash, this doesn't require NFTs. So this is a way for us to scale and to allow anyone to be able to actually play the game. And this is like what's really important for us, right? Like, we wanted to build a game for everyone. Like Valley was very much a game for the OGs, the diehards, but we also wanted a game that was a little bit more like fast paced, a bit more action packed, something that could be streamed. Like I remember I think you guys reached out to me when we, launched Valley, and I was thinking like, well, we can obviously talk about it, but it's not really like a streaming game. Whereas like on Caves, it's a lot more action packed. It's a lot more like, high adrenaline, fun to play, in very short sort of like, periods of, action packed time. Right. So that's how we like built Caves. So it actually was going to be something that like, anyone can play. It doesn't matter whether or not you have an NFT, and you can still compete for wool rewards. Again, like pre-TGE. So, like, again, the speculative juices are flowing, like what could this potentially TGE at? And then also NFTs. So we actually created two leaderboards. So you have a high score leaderboard, which is receiving a share of the 25 million wool rewards, which is 5 times higher than what you would get in Valley. So you could safely assume you're probably going to get 5 times the abstract XP as well for playing Caves. And then we also have a treasure score, because we also wanted to, benefit smaller players as well, right? Because people who are enjoying the game, having a lot of fun, but maybe they're not ranking so high on the high score leaderboard, they're going to potentially rank higher on the treasure score leaderboard. And this we've just announced yesterday was, for players 6 to 20. They're going to be getting merchandise. So we're doing the woolish socks again, which was a huge hit within the community. We're going to be announcing prizes for the ranked 1 to 5 players in the coming days as well on the treasure score leaderboard. So the treasure scores purely all just like NFT prizes. The high score is wool and abstract XP.
Okay, cool. And then the last question around XP would be, if I just hold some of the assets as NFTs, does that qualify me for XP, or should I be partaking in the game?
Yeah, so for the last 5 weeks, so for the first few weeks, the NFTs were receiving 100% of our abstract XP allocation. In the last few weeks, we changed that to 50-50 because we want to start encouraging more gameplay. So it was equally split between the leaderboard and the NFTs. We will gradually move this to 100% to just gameplay, because we want to encourage people to actually play the game, not just like hold the assets. So we are going to be moving to where it will only be for the Valley leaderboard and for the Caves leaderboards for the high score. Okay. And the Caves high score leaderboard is obviously going to get the majority of this.
Okay, very interesting. Craig, any more questions around this specifically at this time?
Well, I've just bought some land as well, so I've got land.
Nice.
I've got
He's in.
and I got a
You got
nice.
a farmer?
I've got water. I've got stone. I've got grass.
This is a good plot. Yeah,
Hey,
if you have
guys,
some water and stone, this is a great start.
to the viewers as well, the floor's thin on land, man. So get in there. I'm going to start.
Yes, it's super thin.
And
So
that's why I bought some. I was like, shit.
one aspect I didn't speak about was that when we announced Caves, we also announced that all net profits from Caves will be going to buying in Wolf Game NFTs. So we're looking to buy the all collections of the Wolf Game series. So whether it's farmers, the original Wolf Game, like with the G0s and the G1s, the G2s even. So we're going to be pouring all of those profits back into the actual NFTs themselves. So that is going to be one thing to note when you're looking at these floors right now. They may end up changing in the near future, as we start to get some revenue coming in from Caves.
Sick. Yeah, I've got a Gen 1 then as well, which is, I guess, good. And then
Gen 1 land. Gen 1 land.
No, the sheep.
Yeah,
Right,
so if you have two Gen 1s or Gen 0s or one of each, you can breed them in a barn.
That's a good upsell. I'm gonna have to buy another one. Greedy, don't buy them all. And then just to clarify, I need a farmer, and that's to protect the wolves from attacking my sheep. Is that
correct? Correct, exactly. So basically, the thing is, like, you would hope at least for the first couple of days your sheep won't be too plump with resources, so wolves shouldn't attack it. You can obviously play it very safe and have the farmer going straight away from protecting your sheep, but typically what people would do is, like, they would at least wait a couple of days and then they would apply a farmer, like, as the sheep starts to get a little bit more plump. Also the chances of getting shiny boxes which contain cave credits, they become more frequent the longer that you're actually collecting with your sheep as well. So there's an incentive to keep collecting with the sheep for long periods rather than shorter periods.
Can you target? Do you find users targeting other users? Like, can I find?
Oh yeah. Like you have all out wars. Like, you get people who get very salty. That even myself. Like yesterday, I went into Valley and I had 21 notifications, and I was like, this can't be good, right? And some of the notifications were for shiny boxes, some were for people buying jugs from me for energy. But then I would say like half of these notifications, like 10 or 11, was just like looted. So you have some people within the community. You have a guy called Borg, and another guy called Maven. Like, these guys are just like ruthless. They have huge amounts of like wolves, and they just go down into the valley and they just like cause like absolute destruction. So you get a lot of like back and forth in the Discord around this as well.
Shit, that's funny. Can you do anything to the wolves? Can you harm them back, or is it just you can just fend them off with the farm?
This is Wolf Game. So the wolves are very, like, in a way, like, yeah, like
that sounds fun, dude. That sounds fun.
A great starting spot for wolves is the G2s. Like I think the G1s and G0s, like, I think they start from memory about 0.2 or 0.3, and that's just for an A5. If you want an A7, I think it goes up to even like a 1.4 or 1.5. But if you do like a second generation wolf, these are a much more affordable.
That's cool.
So, like, for example, you can see there on the floor, the first one, that's an A5 because it doesn't have a crown. But right next to it, for a very similar price, you have an A7 because it has a golden crown. So that would be like your best value A7 wolf right now. Gotcha. And then after that, the silver crown represents A6.
Gotcha. That's the higher their ranking, the more success they have at killing the sheep.
Ultimately. Yeah, they have more energy. They have better success at like what they do as well. So really, like getting a generation 2 A7 wolf, like that, for like especially the one that's like close to floor. Like, if you wanted to like get involved and to get into the wolf game, that's a great starting point right there.
I'm gonna have to grab a wolf. That's definitely more my playing style. Just being
just destruction.
just for the troll, just for the trolling. I just like that sort of thing. It's like playing Call of Duty and putting bouncing betties and tripwires around.
Because like they can also destroy like community silos as well. So people spend a lot of resources like building up their silos to like boost their rewards. Oh, here we go. Hey, he's got one.
I had to sell. I don't have enough liquidity. I had to sell some meme coins.
This is great.
My question. So can I like the only way to get wolves is by buying on secondary, and then is the Gen 2 the best, like as I just bought, but like should I be looking at Gen 0, Gen 1s at all, or is it better for me to go?
So currently, so basically like again, like when I took over the game, like I reviewed all aspects of the game, right? And like there was definitely like some like very like highly inflationary areas, and wolf breeding was very inflationary at the time because it's like if you take let's say like 20 days to breed a wolf, the floor back then especially was like quite high, right? So like you were getting a huge return on your investment very quickly. So what we saw was like there was like people with like huge wolf breeding operations, right? So like people were just like churning out wolves and making thousands of dollars. I didn't want that this time because obviously when you have huge wolf populations, the valley suffers, right? Then suddenly you have like a lot of wolves just causing a lot of destruction. So on the relaunch, we've disabled the first generation wolves from breeding. So you need 2 0 generations to breed a wolf. We will change this back at some point, but we're just going to make it harder. So basically, like it was very easy to basically breed basically like a second generation A7 wolf. We're just going to make that a lot harder in the future. So we just need to reformulate that breeding formula. And then we're going to reopen it back up for first generation wolves to breed as well.
Okay. So, dude, OpenSea rarity drives me insane because it goes based on traits rather than like, say, you wouldn't want less energy on your sheep, right? You would want 1,000 energy compared to 800, right? Yeah,
correct.
Exactly. Okay.
So yeah, because like the traits are just purely cosmetic. Like whether or not we do something with those in the future, I'm not sure yet. Like it's something that we've discussed internally. But right now, like the higher the energy, the better, because that means you can play with that asset for a lot longer before you have to recharge it, right?
Okay. Very cool. No, I mean, I'll be spending more time. It's cool to explore this. Like it's been, I mean, like as you said earlier, Abstract has really turned over, I suppose, in the last month or two. Like really come back to where it was a few months ago around speculation, around gaming, around streams. Hopefully meme coins run it up for a lot of people as well. But yeah, Angela says, I love live shopping. So true. Isn't it wild? Like, I don't even know how much these are, but like I'm spending what, like $500, but I would have $200. I would never go do that IRL. That's crazy. Yeah, crypto.
You ever just walk into a shop and spend $500, $600?
It completely warps your mind, right?
0.05 ETH. You're like, oh, I don't even know what that is.
Easy. Oh, this is 0.15 done. Easy. Oh, this is a great starting pack, by the way. This is fantastic. Yeah, you'll have to message me and tell me your thoughts after the
You said I needed 2 wolf game Gen 1, right?
Depends on what if you want to get into sheep breeding. Both the Gen 0 and the Gen 1s, they can both breed together, or like you can have 2 Gen 0s or 2 Gen 1s. So the sheep are fine because the G2 sheeps, like they didn't have like the same like inflation problem as the wolves, because the G2 wolves were just selling for so much money that like people were just like spamming like the breeding on them. The G2 sheep, not so much of a problem, because also you need to burn the G2 sheep to be able to breed the wolves. And also the G2 sheep come with wool. So a lot of people, they want either, wool and chops, right? So the thing is like you get a lot more like value in the G2s without having to like sell them.
So if I'm correct, you can't, you hang on. This might be.
Yeah, it's so complex. I love it.
I think I'm wrong here. Do you need to kill sheep to create wolves in any way, or is that not required?
You do. So you need chops to breed wolves.
Perfect.
And basically the only way to get chops, well, you can either buy them on the in-game AMM, which is like our in-game exchange, or you have to burn a sheep. And depending on whether it's a G0, G1, or G2 sheep, it'll give you a different amount of chops. It's tied to the energy, basically, right? So, and then also the wool is also tied to the energy. So like a G0 sheep, if you burn it, will provide you with 1,000 chops and a lot more wool than if you burn a G2 sheep, which will probably provide you with like less than half of that in chops value, and then also in wool value as well. But a lot of people, to expand their flock and also for like, scaling as well, we want to scale this game to thousands of players. A lot of people just breed the G2 sheep just to have more sheep to collect resources with.
Gotcha. Okay, looks like I've just become a sheep breeder.
Yeah.
I'm a farmer now.
This is fantastic. This is great.
This is epic. We don't want to take too much of your time, Seedphrase, but the last question.
Let's fun right now. This is great.
Last question here is shelters. Can you build them in game, or is it better to buy it secondary, or like obviously the strategy around that?
Yeah, so as you can see here, you've got like the structured lands, and these are the lands that you build structures on, right? So like you can either build barns. The barns go from level 1 to 7, and then or you can build a bathhouse, which goes also from level 1 to 7. And basically each level just improves efficiency. So the higher the level, the more efficient that structure becomes. The one thing about bathhouses though is like you either keep it as a bathhouse that people can then put their sheep into, and then they have to wait a number of days for the sheep to recharge, or you convert the bathhouse to a jug house, and that daily produces jugs, but it's just a small amount of energy compared to fully recharging it in a bathhouse, right? So for the people who just want to like keep going within the game and they're like, oh, I don't want to wait days for my sheep to be recharged, we have a whole jug market in Valley where you can actually buy jugs from other players to then just quickly on the go replenish your sheep and just start collecting again. Okay. But there's also Alpha. We have more structures coming as well. So
okay, I was about to say So like I could.
So currently, like we only have barns and bathhouses to build on the structures.
Yeah.
But as we introduce new structures as well, it's obviously going to become very advantageous to be able to choose which strategy you want, right? Because suddenly like you have X amount of structured lands for only 2 bathhouses. Now you only have X amount of structured lands for 3 types of bathhouses, for 3 types of structured structures. So yeah, it's like I said, like this game is full of complexity. We have a wallpaper, but it will take you a couple of days to learn everything, but it's well worth it. Once you actually learn the game, it's highly addictive. The community is great. And it's a lot of fun as well. So yeah, and like I said, like Valley is very much resource focused. It's a lot more like passive unless you're playing as a wolf. But if you want more like high octane, a lot more energy, again, like I said, better for streaming, it's going to be cave game or caves.
Cool. Amazing. I mean, I think we've covered a lot there. So guys, if you're new, and I mean, not new, if you are new to the channel, drop a follow, of course, first. But secondly, replay this so you can watch it back. We go into
there's a lot of information in there.
So I love it. I think is there anything else about Wolf Games specifically you want to touch on? There's a couple more questions I probably have before we let you go. Anything else there?
No, like I said, like you can see there on the website, you have a small description on the valley, small description on the caves. Basically, you choose your path, or you can do both, right? Like obviously, like as I said, there is tie-in between the two. If you want to try to play Valley to get some free cave credits, you can then do that, and then you can jump into caves and play caves as well. So we have something for everyone there. We have something for passive players, for whales, for smaller players, for more active players. There really is a strategy for everyone, and that's what makes Wolf Games so great.
Amazing. And confirmed TGQ1 you said earlier for wool, is that correct?
Yeah,
there
exactly.
We go.
That's what we're aiming for.
Exciting times. I wanted to go more broad. I don't know, Craig, did you have anything to follow up there at all?
No, I'm just going to go do some purchasing after the stream, but I'm going to get breeding, man. I need more sheep.
Yes, let's do it. Let's go.
I love it. I wanted to inquire because obviously your journey in crypto it's a fantastic success story, and I know a lot of people who watch our show daily. Thousands of people tune in, and they often are curious about like how can they get a leg up in crypto, or what should they be doing to maybe improve, whether it's live streaming, whether it's entertainment, or whether it's trading, or whether it's collecting certain things or farming certain airdrops. I wanted to talk a little bit about where do you think the best upside in crypto really is at this point of time? Like as Craig said earlier, I've been around since about 2016. You yourself 2013-ish, and Craig 2021. So we've got a few years between us. But where do you think really the upside lies potentially in crypto? Is it coming out of a bear market again in future years, or is there some really good opportunities you think right now?
I think that we're going to see a big shift to utility. We're obviously going to see. I think crypto is going to go through a phase that's going to become a lot more like institutionalized. It already is.
Yeah.
I think even like with token launches, right? Like this is going to be a lot more scrutinized. A lot more. I don't want to use this word because obviously, everything is legal that, these projects are doing, but, there's just going to be a lot more sort of like, expectations on like, success here. And people are going to be picking and choosing a lot more, right? Like people are just going to be just buying into like, dog with hat or this like other meme coin. It's going to be like, what kind of utility does this token have?
Yeah.
I think hype, this cycle was a great sort of like, token to look at there because, obviously with the buybacks, pump as well. We've just seen that announcement with Uniswap. This is kind of like where we're going to, like we're going to like buybacks, burns, revenue generating, tokens as well. I think this is kind of like where we're going to, and less sort of like this sort of like, tribalism, sort of like, meme coin stuff. Like this will always have a place, no doubt.
Agreed.
I just don't know if we're going to see the same craze that we saw in the past. I think like that craze that we saw, just sort of like, like how we saw like, the NFT bubble pop in 2021, right? Like we saw crazy in 2021. NFTs dead? Absolutely not. Far from it. It's just going to look very different in the future, right? And I think that's what's going to happen with meme coins as well. Like, I'm not sure if we're going to see that same energy, but meme coins will continue to exist and they will continue to evolve and innovate as well in interesting ways. So I think we're going to see a lot more of like, this like expectation of, like these buybacks, revenue, utility, obviously, staking, but maybe like in a more interesting way. I think like the staking, mechanism currently, it's a little overdone and it hasn't been innovated enough. But yeah, like that's really like, when I'm looking at the markets, like that's really what I'm looking at right now. It's like Uniswap, hype, pump, anything where you can kind of like own the casino or own a part of like the company without owning the shares. This is, I think, very interesting and somewhat of a safe bet, especially if it has a strong moat. I've always been a big fundamentalist, someone, who looks out for like these, these projects or companies that have big moats. Like, can they easily be overtaken, right? And then, when you look at the dominance of, pump fund, when you look at the dominance of hyperliquid, very, very strong moats there, right? So these are, what's very interesting, but also like looking at like, new and emerging metas. I really love what like TokenWorks is doing like with their strategies. We saw a huge, euphoric pump a month ago. Obviously the chart since then has like died down, but I still believe in the fundamentals there, right? Like, I think in the right conditions, if Ethereum does well, if it, and then obviously NFTs then catch a bit as well. I could see these token work, coins doing very well as well, because it's almost like it's like leverage bet on the underlying collection.
Yeah, for sure. Amazing answer. Love to hear it. It pretty much aligns with what Craig and I really talk about every day on the show. So that's good to hear. All right, last question. You can either answer one of these, maybe 3 predictions for the rest of this cycle, or where do you think we are in this bull cycle? Do you think we're close to the end? Do you think we have a super cycle into 2026? What do you think?
I'm a bull, in my DNA, right? Like I've been bullish for the last, 8 years or 12 years or something. I can't remember. So like I've always been bullish. If I wasn't, I obviously wouldn't be where I am today. So like I always have to have a bull bias. I'm hoping that we see at least like some kind of like blow off top. Maybe we see an alt season. Like I know alts have been down bad tremendously over the last like couple of years. It's really just been like a meme coin and very select metas. I'm not sure if we're going to see what we saw in like 17 or 21. I'm not sure about that. But I do think that with the midterms around the corner, the government's pumping more and more cash into the the economy, a lot more money printing. I still believe that we're going to see at least a good Q1 or Q2 next year. That's my hope. That's my belief. I don't think that it's over just yet. There's no way. There's no way that it can be over without Ethereum not even making a strong blow off top here, right? So that's what I really believe.
No, I'll take that to the bank, man. That's what I needed to hear. Thanks.
Yeah, no, like honest, like the thing is, like it's been funky with like the tariffs and everything else, but there's no way the government just like lets all of this just like fall out, right before the midterms. It's going to be horrific for them. So I think that money print is just going to keep supercharging the markets, and
I feel like that's what Trump wants, eh? Like it has to.
Exactly. That's why gold's exploding, silver's up I think 5% today, which is insane.
Yeah, it's all-time high. It's crazy. Yeah,
it's insane. So like I think we're gonna as Angelos says, like Q1 I think it's gonna be really epic. And usually it's like historically Q1's usually a pretty epic year, time of quarter of the year. So I think it'll be nice.
Well, I think Seedphrase, you've probably got to get going, I think. So I just quickly want to say, brother, thank you so much for jumping on, giving us so much of your time, man. It's been an absolute privilege. So thanks for getting back to us, jumping on, giving obviously the viewers a lot of information as well about what your game is. Obviously, Greeny and I have jumped on there now. So we will, we'll obviously do our best to try and not only entertain, but educate people on how best to navigate your platform as well. So
really appreciate it.
Try and work together.
This was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on this stream, and if I didn't have a call right after this, I would have stayed on for another hour or so.
We'll get you back.
We'll do another one. We'll do another one.
Another one. Bitcoin all-time high. We'll get you back. We all do a shoey.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, we've got a lot coming up for Wolf Game, so we'll have a lot more to talk about as well. And yeah, please let me know how the breeding goes and everything else.
Cheers, mate.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right.
Alrighty. That was so good, Craig. Brad, again, thank you for getting him on, mate. That was excellent. Great to
and he's an Aussie. Craig. I didn't even know he was an Aussie.
Yeah, no, I looked at Seedphrase up earlier today. I was like, oh shit, he's an Aussie and he's from my neck of the woods, mate.
So much easier to talk to in many ways, eh? Aussies, easy.
And I think also, and I mean, chat, like you guys just saw, it's just like him being Aussie and we being Aussie. It just is it flows so easy, man. Like, no offense to other people that we interview. We've interviewed a lot of people from Europe, UK, and obviously America. But like when you grow up in the same place and then you talk with people as well, it like the symmetry, let's call it, is just it works out a lot better when you're interviewing and being an interviewee as well. So that was awesome.
That flowed nicely. And guys, on a side note, Bitcoin 103,795 now. So
yeah,
market's looking okay. Do you want to have a bit of a chat about the market, Greeny?
Yeah, guys, we'll do a quick catch up, obviously, because we didn't get to do our normal show this morning. So obviously, special shout out to our two partners, Yeet and OKX. And just a reminder, guys, if you do sub to the channel, which shout out to Dan Too Loose, who has subbed during this stream today. If you sub to the channel, we'll be giving away a free GTG month tomorrow, valued at $100. There's only a few people who are currently in there. It's Dan, it's Tig, it's Plastic, it's Angelos, Chianti, and Dead Oxide. There's only is that 5 or 6 people who are going into that giveaway. So your odds are very, very good. And there might be some more giveaways soon, Craig, because we are off to ACC next week, which is Oz CryptoCon, guys. So hopefully we can get some footage out. We might try do a live stream maybe like in the evening or something like that. It just depends on what the schedule's like and all that sort of stuff as well. But yeah, we're super excited to be talking again live with OKX down at ACC in a couple weeks time or next weekend. It's really close now. So yeah, guys, don't forget, if you sub to our Kick channel, it helps us grow. We need, I think, maybe 2 or 3 more subs like yourself. It can't be a gifted sub. And then we need viewership to go up, which our viewership is steady, but it's nice to be on a different time zone for a lot of viewers as well. But hopefully we can get the path to verification on Kick sooner rather than later. It helps with discovery. I can start paying for ads to shill it in certain places.
What do you need? Really? Do you need 50 concurrent viewers average?
Average. So path to verification. So we need 10 subscribers in the last 30 days. We're at 8, so we need 2 more actually. We need showstopper. So this is the issue. We need to somehow get our average. Our average is at 14.5, and it needs to be at 50 viewers. So that we're probably not going to hit it. And then obviously 100 unique chatters, and then we need to total stream over 15 hours, which we're definitely doing. So yeah, I mean, that's the path to verification. Then path to partner, we'll get to that when we have to battle that. Those sort of
so chat, what do you need? What do we need to give you to get 50 of you fuckers on here watching this? what do I need to do, man? Do I need to juggle?
Give away free cash. Like, yeah. We'll do some stuff.
Give away $1,000 a week, Greenie, that we do currently, or like what do we?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean,
or 10 grand a week, maybe we'll get them.
Yeah, we will. But no, Wolfgang looks sick.
Retards like that Neo are getting viewers. We'll get some. So
yeah, I know. Isn't it wild that whole story? But anyways, yeah, amazing to chat, Wolfgang. Go back, watch the replay, guys. We won't be on here for too much longer, but go back and watch the replay if you want to learn about anything regarding that ecosystem. Honestly, yeah. Great guy, intelligent guy, has obviously done so well in the crypto space over the past, 12 years since he bought Bitcoin. Man, take me back to 2013 when I was at 18 years old. Like, make me buy.
Dude, I should have asked him how long he held for, actually. Like when he bought in 2013, did he actually hold? Or because sure, like the trader and me, the amateur Craig back then, if I'd got a 5x, bro, and I was a uni student. I would have said to my mates, we've got beers tonight, boys. Like, I would have sold all my Bitcoin for $30.
It sounds like he obviously gets it, right? Like he got it early.
Yeah.
He got it early, which it takes a lot of people a long time to understand how crypto works, right? And more importantly, the value of it, right? So I think, Angelus, let us know any ideas. Like, and chat, let us know if you have any ideas about how we can boost Kick viewers, because I mean, we did well today. I think we peaked at like 30 earlier today. We're at 14 at the moment, so we need to keep the average going up. So I don't know. I thought about maybe streaming at different time frames, but then it's the same again. Like, it's still about viewership. So
it's put giveaway work.
So true. A slight variation, and yeah, you're right. Angelus, you're a genius, man. Appreciate you.
Is that why? Is that what you did last time? We got heaps of bots.
I don't know, but yeah, mate, I didn't have giveaway. I've never put giveaway in the because
I don't care if they're bots, right? Like, do we care?
No, but I think sometimes they just come in and crash. What about that dude on YouTube who just came in and assaulted me? Did you see that?
Yeah.
I saw it for a bit, then I was replying to other comments like slowly, and then I got to that. I was like, what the fuck is this? I reported him, I banned him. Yeah, like
that person's off his head.
Dude,
apparently they're going to freeze all your assets when you get to a high enough number. So it must be God speaking.
I don't know what's
That's
happened.
the bit where he lost me a bit, where he said that. I was like, oh, dude, you sound crazy now, man. The 3+ streams have been going into your guys' ones a bit. I think he starts at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, see that? We do have a clash there. Like, honestly, we were streaming before him, and then he's stolen that spot. Which is a bit annoying because we were streaming before that. And then obviously he's got good viewership as well. So people don't watch both at the same time. But I mean, our viewership's always been pretty decent anyway. It's just a different crowd to an extent, potentially as well.
Yeah. But he's got some good guests lately, though. I'll give him that. He's got some shit ones lately too. Some spammers, man. Fuck me dead. But he's got a few. He has got the odd good one. So shout out to Thread Guy. He does get the odd good person. I just sometimes wonder why he puts the scammers on pedestals, like Orangey and stuff. I'm like, why give them the time of day, brother? Like, they're just bringing... Anyway, I won't go on that rant. Let's talk Bitcoin. Let's talk about good shit.
Well, if we have a look at the market, I'm just trying to change the body. I've messed up here. I pressed the button that I shouldn't have pressed. I was trying to change the title of the stream, and I don't know how to get it. What have I done? No. What have I done? Oh, I can't change it. I don't know what's happened. Anyways, market looking good. I'm long as I'm long. I
Long
de-risked.
and strong.
I de-risked some spot today. I was a little bit nervous because BTC was just showing so much weakness on low time frames. Like look at these candles, Craig. I was like, it's not like I'm trying to be a degen or anything, but I'm just like was curious. Look at this shit. Like
No.
I was like, what is happening? Like that we pumped and then we sold off. Then we dumped all the way, stole all the liquidity nearly, and then we pumped and wicked again. I was like, what is happening? Like I was like, there's two ways we're going to come out of this. We're either probably going to pump
Yeah.
or we're going to dump straight through. So I was
Same.
again, I'm just a little bit cautious at the moment is my main query right now. So
I've been doing what you do as well. I've been going not quite on the hourly. Oh, no, I was yesterday night. And actually, I laughed at myself. I was like, well, I haven't zoomed in ages, bro. But you kind of need to at the moment because we're at such a critical, it's just to get ahead of the people on the daily. So you can front run their moves. But I don't normally zoom in. So anytime you see me on the hourly, you know I'm fucking dialed in. And I've been going, yesterday I was tracking the hourly when it dumped.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, man, but there's a lot of fuckery going on this chart, man.
And as we were chatting to Seedphrase about, it's like it's wild that gold and
silver have picked up on Bitcoin now. I feel like there's something feels weird Bitcoin at the moment.
It does feel weird because like gold and silver at all time highs, stocks are basically at all time highs. Sorry, ETFs are at all time highs. Like what? Like I mean, crypto. What? BTC is what? It's just not showing as much strength as those is probably the query. Like it's only 17% off the all-time high, which is crazy, right? But it's not correlated is a good term.
Should be
I watched some dude this morning who's hilarious. I think his name is just a smiley face on crypto. He's got like 75,000 followers. He's a GOAT trader. Really? But I watched his video and he's like, well, Bitcoin, and I mean, I've agreed with this. Again, I follow so many people to get confluence with my ideas and analysis.
I like to argue with myself even.
Yeah.
And then try and win the argument with myself to see what I'm going to like.
And
so this is the account of views. I agree with you. I find people that stick in a bubble echo chamber is a very dangerous thing, or mainly for trading. Lifestyle, it's very dangerous as well. But trading, you'll go broke. You've got to have people like Greenie. Like if I say, I think Bitcoin's only going up, I think it's really important to have someone else, e.g. on the show, go, dude, it could also go down. Like there has to be a yin and yang, right? So, I mean, and just to go in with what you're saying, Greenie, yes, or silver is just blow off top. Well, not yet, but, gold had it. Silver's just frothy. Like it's so interesting to me that all these things are having this euphoric stage. Bitcoin hasn't had... Have we had a euphoric stage? Did we have it, Greenie? Was that pump from 77 to 125? Was that the euphoria? Did I just not recognize it enough?
Potentially. I was chatting to a VIP client before the stream as well, and he's in the same boat. He's like, oh look, he's like, and they're like, he's not even plugged into crypto. He's just like, I just don't know. Like there's so many things that everyone's saying and that we're seeing that leads to us potentially pushing into Q1, Q2 next year. Yeah. But then there's so much exhaustion on the charts. There's so much Plan C, actually, I followed him. Shout out to Pio for sharing Plan C. And he actually followed me back because I quote tweeted him. Which, hey, growing a Twitter profile.
Nice one.
He's a big dog.
Copy and paste and didn't. Fuck.
Look at this. Like this guy's got 207,000 followers. He only follows 725 people, and I am one of them now. So I'm great.
I found him about a week or two ago. And look, I guess I like him because he's bullish in a way. But I guess what I'm craving is data, and he's just giving me different kinds of data I hadn't considered. So I'm just looking for different data, even if it's bad for me. But no, I've been following him. I think he's at least reasonable in his takes, right? He's not
absolutely, and that's what I aim to do too. My goal is always just to be analyst based, objective based. Look at not FUD. People think I'm bearish and fudding. I'm like, no, I'm just being realistic. I'm being realistic with what price analysis is showing me.
Like when the doctor gives you bad news about something, right? They're like, "You've got this. You've got to deal with it. You can't just ignore it." I know that was a terrible
No,
example.
because like my goal is to help educate you guys, educate the VIPs, the other traders in GTG about, well, I am scaling profit because of ABC. I'm doing this because of ABC. Again, it's not financial advice, but it's just strategy. It is just strategy in this industry.
There's very little point on us turning up every day, bro, and just being perma bullish.
No,
Like that serves
I think it gets you nowhere. It might get you more followers on the timeline, but people who often become the main character start becoming dickheads like ISO Beast, right? Classic example of that. So I would much rather I would much rather stay objective, analyst, fact-based, and educate over time. And same as Mert calling me out, and then like his token bloody dumping like 40% like the next day. You're an idiot, mate. You're an idiot.
An emotional post from him, unfortunately.
Oh, it was, bro. And he has not replied.
And the thing is, you can FUD my bags as hard as you like. You'll hardly ever get me champing someone like that, bro.
I would never champ. I don't champ. I will champ back. I will retaliate to
I hate that word.
People wrong. Don't just champ people out of like the blue. Like it just
Americans may not understand that one, but in Australia, if you call someone a champ or like, what else would you call them?
Buddy,
junior, buddy. It's like saying to someone, "Hey, little guy." Like,
hey, pussy. Like whatever it is, like Australian terms, like that. It's like a slap in the face. You're like, you don't want to be called.
Like if you say that in a pub to the wrong guy, you'll probably get smacked. So anyway, that's enough about dickheads. Yeah, Bitcoin.
So basically, he suggested that the 50-day slow moving average and the 200-day slow moving average, when they cross historically this cycle, they have seen us go, well, not parabolic, but it has led to Bitcoin's next leg up. I then went a little bit further back and I said, okay, well, let's look at it over a longer period of time frame and look at analysis. And it actually is technically a signal that the top is in as well. So if you have a look back in 2021 as well, as soon as that blue moving average moved over the slower moving average, the 200-day moving averages, it also was a sign of the bear market after, and we rejected from there as well. So again, it has worked out green the last 3 occurrences, as you can see here in this bull cycle. But one could argue it also ended the last bull cycle as well. So again, just educating people around a different way to look at it, and people skew their data to fit a certain narrative, and that's all I'm saying.
It looks like what? There's 3 green and then a yellow.
Yeah. Well, yeah, potentially. I mean, again, history doesn't repeat; it rhymes. But I mean, like, yeah, even in 2017, the same thing happened. As soon as the top was in and it crossed below price action, then crossed below the slow moving average, the 200-day. Then that again was the start of the bear cycle into a long 3 years bear cycle back in. That was a long period of time, just accumulated. But then shout out to like Trader Cop, who's also another Aussie local guy. But he's like, oh, look, I don't technically use it. I use the MACD, but he only uses the one side of the MACD. So I said, oh, well, if I look at the MACD crossing, which I've touched on before, is the death cross. Like, as you can see, that is nearing. And last time that happened, it was the previous high above that was the all-time high. Same again in 2017 and also had occurred in 2013. We've also been so extended in stochastic momentum, which is like RSI indicators and those sorts of things. We've literally been in a bull cycle at 80th percentile literally since December 2023. Look at it in 2021. We were only up there for a couple of months, even though we did then go set in a new all-time high after. But we've also touched on overhead resistance from the past 2 cycles. And again, like the bull cycle ended as soon as the stochastic on the monthly dropped out of the 80th percentile way back in 2018. Again, I'm not trying to be bearish or fuddish. I'm just showing you signs of exhaustion that price action doesn't lie. If there are buyers stepping in here, it would show me on the chart. If people were so bullish, why are we not higher, right? Those sorts of things. But we also...
Good point. That's a good point.
Exactly, like market structure.
Bullish, why aren't they all buying?
Exactly. And
if they are buying, these more sellers. So we're like, because the chart's red. So
exactly. But I mean, like there's clear distribution as well. And what we call distribution is these wicks. Like we have not closed a candle above 119 or 115K on the monthly. And that's clear signs of exhaustion and distribution, which is how price works. If it has a distribution to the upside or the bottom side, it usually reverses in the opposite trend, right? So again, there's a lot that I'm looking at. I'm not trying to be bearish, but then Trader Cobb says, well, look, I only use the top of the MACD to use as an indicator. And that, as you can see here, has been a very steady incline over time. throughout this cycle. So that's what I mean. Like again, I'm just trying to stay factual based. I'm not trying to be. I'll engagement bait on Twitter. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I've been going viral with some of that shit because stuff people, stuff them. But I just want to be like,
people do like it.
I mean, yeah, that's part of Twitter growth in a way as well, right? But arguably, like, there is a little weakness here. But I am stupidly long. I have, I don't know, $10,000 to $20,000 long right now, and that was the main reason I was like, well, hold on. If we break down here, I'm probably going to lose like 5 to 10 grand US on my leverage portfolio. Well, then should I try and protect my spot position? And my thoughts right now is I would nearly, again, I'm an active trader, so it's very different, but I would nearly rather hold more leverage positions than I would hold spot because you don't have stop loss, take profits. I'm not actively watching those positions.
Yeah.
I go over there and I look and my Pengu bag's down 20%, far out, like stuff like that, right? So again, it's different strategies work for different people. It depends on what you need, what you want, and what your heart desires, and probably how much time you have too. So,
yeah.
But there are some good charts, like this Keto chart. I really like this. I call this in GTG. I really like this chart. I really like this chart.
Yeah, that's got potential as long as everything else holds the line, right? Well, not everything else, just the market as a whole.
Exactly.
If Bitcoin just crabs, man, some of these alts look really, really, really good, man. Like the setups we brought up, or you more specifically brought up earlier in the week, guys, definitely go back, check out Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We go over a lot of setups, Pengu as well. Some of them are looking decent, man. And I wonder if this is setting up for that fabled alt run that I don't think it's going to go for long, but it doesn't need to, does it? If there's an alt run, it could just be 8 weeks.
Yeah, and I'll say this as always, not financial advice, but if we get an aggressive pump, I sell everything. I absolutely sell everything, sitting stable.
I'm out. I'm tired.
And I'm not even trying to time the top. I'm just trying to probably execute.
And take profit, eh? I just want to take P, and even if I miss the top by 20%, man, 30. Like if I sell at 150 and it runs to 200. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'll leave a little moon bag, but there'll be people on the timeline, there'll be Scotch and people going, fucking told you to go 200, 250. I honestly don't really care because all I'm going to do is I'll wait a little bit longer, and when the bear market comes, I'm going to buy. I'm going to do exactly what I did this run. I'm going to do it all over again because the thing is I'm not willing to miss this time. I would rather miss I'm not willing to. I'm not going to try and sell the top because where Greenie brought up that death cross last time in 21, where it was just after the pump to 69, and then it broke down to about in the 50s, and then it went from there. It was pretty much free fall to 16. And I just banked that in my mind, that feeling. I've locked it away in a little chest of my heart, and it on purpose. I want to feel it. I don't ever want to lose that feeling. And I'm going to make sure that, like, even I've been saying this for a long time, man. When Bitcoin breaks, even if it hits 125 again, I'm going to be selling some, man. Like, I'm going to sell probably a good 30% there at 125 again because I just remember 21, and I remember giving that double top. Yeah. And I remember going 64, 65, and then 69. I had to wait 5 months, man, to get $4,000 extra. 5 months of downturn.
Yeah. And that's what people don't think about. And then I had a year of agony. I would rather be in stables, heavily stabled up, and I'm sure you're the same. And then I'm quite happy to not be trading, dude. Like or just shorting the market. I want to be stabled, and shorting is where I'd ideally like to be. And that way, if I get the short wrong, there's invalidation levels, there's stop losses, my bags just don't get crushed. Yeah, I lose a few trades, but that's okay. And if the market keeps going up, I'll be clapping everyone else on, man, all the way up. I don't care where. Like if it goes to $1 million, I'll cry a little bit. I'll be like, fuck, I'll have to just do it next time, right? But I don't think we're going to million this run. I think we're seeing signs of exhaustion. I don't know if Bitcoin's even going to get to, is it going to get to 200 Greenie? We had so many people a month ago. Yeah.
If I'd brought this up or 2 months ago and said we're not going to 200, people would have stoned me, like being like, you're an idiot. Now, I put chart questionnaires up on Twitter, and so many people now, man, way more bearish now than they were, and that's all down to price action. It's not down to a thesis. It's not down to data, I don't think. I'm guessing, but I don't think so, because I see the explanations and they're pretty, like, real surface level stuff, like, rate cuts. It's like, I need more than that, man. I need more than rate cuts to tell me why Bitcoin's going to $250,000.
Yeah.
Like, that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
Maybe layer upon layer, and also the chart needs to show me that it wants 250, and at the moment the chart's probably showing me that it really wants 80s.
Yeah,
maybe either that or so anyway, that's my little rant, but I will be taking profit out like you, Greeny, aggressively, man, aggressively, because even this breakdown now from 125 to 100, I wasn't expecting it to move like this.
Nah, I thought it would come quicker, a pump to the upside.
Same.
Craig, are we, sorry to interrupt, are
Yep.
we going to, now that we are pumping again right now, are we going to be sold on again by America when we wake up tomorrow?
Yeah, those dirty dogs last night, man. I was pissed when I woke up. I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing over there?
I went to sleep and Bitcoin was at $106 or $5,000. I woke up, it was at 101. I was like, what?
We only needed about $2 more grand, man. I was going to get the shoe out. Like, you guys are killing me. Kuro, what's up, dude? Crime's the only way to 200. I agree, bro. The good news is I think we've got the president there to crime us to 200. But I'm just not willing to carry my port on that thesis that Donald Trump will crime us to 200. I do agree somewhat, because I think, what do you think, Greeny? You asked Seedphrase this. Is it in their interest to gigapump crypto, even just for a moment? Is it worth it for them?
I feel, I don't know, like Trump's got to do everything he wants to, or everything he can to win back, as Eli said earlier in the week, to win back the supporters, right? Because right now he's not doing well. He's not doing well. So I think it's certainly something to consider. Is he probably has the best interest of heart of a lot of, like, more this, and he is a businessman, right? So he probably does have that in his mind. It's just what happens after. Are we going to see just absolute, like, corrections, right? And I'm not talking even crypto. Like, are we going to see a multi?
Well, he's going to be president in the bear market for part of it, dude.
Yeah,
like, and he's going to get slammed and blamed for it for sure.
Oh,
can
I put it
waiting since I voted in. I was like, they're going to blame him for the bear market, like they will anyone. But that's why I sort of wondered if he got in, because he will also be the scapegoat.
Yeah,
for the bear market. But I wonder in between now and then, and I'll answer my own question. I wonder, well, not answer, I theorize. I wonder if he will, like you just said. I don't understand enough about the midterms. I need to look into it.
I don't know American stuff at all. Yeah.
Midterms, it sounds like there's a midway vote. Why? On what?
Is it like a poll to just see like how they're going? I don't know.
Yeah, like why are they shuffling things around? Anyway, if the Americans in the room can explain why midterms seem important, and if they are important and midterms are coming up, then yes, maybe he will need to, for the sake of the Republican Party, even pump things just to for that. But is that enough to bet on? I don't know, man. Like, that seems so fragile to me. I mean, I'm betting on it. I've got plenty of money in it. I guess I am. But that, for me, I'm just like, the chart is just not screaming way higher to me right now, as much as I want to. Although I did put a post in GTG yesterday, and I feel like finally, structurally, Bitcoin looks like it's in a descending wedge that's not expanding. Which for me looks more bullish. So I'm just wondering, and I don't know if I drew that correctly. You're a lot better than me. I just wonder if we're finally in that wedge, whereas before it was a broadening wedge going upwards, whereas now it's a descending wedge getting tighter. That for me is a lot better to trade. I like trading those. The expanding wedge we had earlier was fucking hideous.
Could be. You could
trade it.
No, I mean, like this last year was just so, I knew this was a massive bull flag, man.
Yeah,
I just knew that.
Give me that again, one last time, please. One last time.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, the struggle is, as I said earlier, the distribution. The issue is we are struggling on the monthly and the weekly. So the monthly is about 115. We'd never close above that. Clear distribution above. And the weekly as well. If you come and have a look at the weekly, we struggle to close anywhere above this. Then you start to go and look at the highs. Okay, well, this previous high here, Did we show strength? No, we didn't show strength. Okay, well, what about on the monthly, on the previous all-time high? You come and have a look. Well, we're actually well below it with current price action. So, like, that's a pivotal level for Bitcoin at 109, right? So, yeah, it's a very interesting market right now. I mean, I still lean optimistically cautious in terms I'm bullish, but I don't get nervous sleeping at night, but I just worry that if I buy something right now,
Same.
I actually saw I moved more into the bank because I was sick of like one fees, two just being stupid in terms of like changing my bias too much for my like because I'm trying to protect my wealth to buy a house, right?
Yeah.
Very different to when I felt a year ago. So, the
goat guy's back. I was going to ask you where the goat guy had gone the other day, and he's back.
He's got a different name.
It's Greeny, sir. The goat farm was hit by a large hailstorm. Fucks.
I mean, yeah, hopefully, well, apparently there's a lot of hail coming this weekend too for us, so hopefully we're all good. Anyways, Craig, we shouldn't drag on too late, but yeah, I mean, the market looks okay here. Great to obviously chat about Wolf Game with Seedphrase, guys. If you need to go back and watch that replay, it's on Twitter, it's on Kick as well. It's on our YouTubes. You can go back and watch it there as well. Yeah, absolute amazing guest to have on. Great to know that he's also an Aussie. It's cool to see other Australians in the space doing well. Yeah, I mean, we'll be back full tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a longer stream tomorrow on the rest of the market, Craig, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really tempted to buy more Moonbirds.
I have been considering them as well. It's funny you say that. Last night I almost pulled the trigger. I'm real close. I'm just, like you just said, this market is a fucking pest to trade, man.
Yeah.
But I get, this might be famous last words, but can they go much lower? I know they can go to zero. What are they at the moment? 6.5?
Yeah, 6.7.
7. Where you got in, bro, was the one. 5K. That was the level. I still think that could be a good buy, though. I mean, we're in extreme fear, bro, and they're at 6.7.
Yeah.
But fuck, it's okay. It's either going to be a fucking go-to trade, or we're all going to get wrecked on NFTs.
Yeah.
And there's not much in between, because I think time's ticking, and I don't think we have to wait too long for a resolution on which way this market's going to go. I don't think. But I've been saying that for fucking weeks, haven't I? So, oh man, I can't. Yeah, for everyone else out there trading, God bless you guys. It's a tricky time at the moment. I wouldn't say I'm particularly enjoying this time of the market right now.
Really. It's been shitty. It's actually nice to do the Wolf Game because maybe that'll spend some time over there. So
yeah, just distract my mind from doing mental gymnastics. But it's a really tricky time to trade. It's always going to be a tricky time at the top or a perceived top. As long as Spencer doesn't release any videos.
I can't believe they deleted it.
Oh,
why did they delete it? Like, embrace the cringe?
I agree. Run it up. Fuck it, man. Bangers is always cringe. What do they think?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you hired her to do that.
That's all she does. And actually, I don't mind Bangers, bro.
I think she's good. Yeah.
Like, she's out there. She's fucking throwing her shit around, like whatever she's got to do. Hey, there's me. There you go, mum and dad. Check that out, bro. I thought that was pretty cool to get my head on there. It's a pretty dorky accomplishment, but I like
That's
it.
cool, though. It's cool. I like it.
It's cool, man. It's cool. So that, yeah. Oh man, amongst all those other guys, it's funny. The coin purse is amongst those guys. Darren's there. That makes me.
Wait, is your name Craig? Oh no, it's not Craig's coin purse. Yeah, okay.
I tried after I seen all my details. I was like, oh fuck, but then I was like, oh fuck it, no, my last name.
Mine's just everyone else is literally like David.
Yeah,
George,
you just got Greeny.
I just went Greeny, bro. Hey, everyone knows me as like nobody probably. Craig, do you even know my first name? Maybe.
I do.
Yeah.
Because you had it on your badge last year at Oscon.
I know. I was such an idiot when I realized that. I was like, oh no, that's not what I'm trying to achieve. So today I made Greeny Trades.
Yeah. But what was it? I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, sorry, to quickly go over this, I guess, just quickly before we log off. Yeah, Australian Crypto Convention starts next Saturday. Yep. We'll be there from Friday. Dude, we're going to be busy, man.
I know.
It's like Pudgy Party. I think I land at like 12:50. I think
I land around midday or 1 o'clock or something.
Yeah. And then I think the Pudgy Party's at 3.
Yeah.
That's early. So Jesus. And then I think it's straight from that to the OKX.
Yeah.
And then you're speaking Saturday.
Yeah.
And then
But
we're
there might be kick on, so I don't know. Maybe Friday night's the party night for me potentially. Not that I want to be hungover, but you know.
Oh, I agree. I think Friday night I'll let my hair down a bit. I'm not speaking on the Saturday, only you are, but I've seen you perform after a night out and you were fine actually. I don't know how.
No, there was that one time. Where was I overseas? No, where was I? There was that one time I did 25 minutes and I was like, "No, I've got to go."
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I can't remember, but
okay. Oh no, I was staying at my friend's place. Yeah, no, yeah.
That was good. That was greeny. I was impressed actually.
I don't even remember. Oh, that's after I went with SwiftX to the Gabba to watch the AFL.
It was, and you had a friend's place. That was funny. No, you got on stage. I think on the Saturday with Luthen. What was his name?
This Saturday, yeah. So I'm speaking with David. So David, obviously the CEO, founder of Oz CryptoCon. Also speaking with David Bird, who is a trader and runs his own community, and Praz, I think, is also he's with us on the
OKX, yeah,
on the OKX on Friday. So I actually don't know who the other speaker is on the.
What's the topic you're speaking on the
trading or something? So it's profit or perish, winning the crypto derivatives game. So trading derivatives and perps. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that main? That must be main stage, wouldn't it?
I don't know. CoinStash Theater. Like, how is there? Can we see if there's a map?
We did get sent an email with the stage layout.
Did we?
Yeah, just before a couple of hours ago, we got sent it. Fuck, where is it?
Oh, I have so many email addresses. Are you in this email?
What are you? What lounge? CoinStash.
CoinStash. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the main ones, dude.
Is it? Cool.
Yeah. It's one of the big ones.
When did that email come out?
I'll forward this to.
What time? I'm sure I'm on it.
No, you're not on that.
Live background happening on the show, guys. Live background stuff.
Yeah, this is horrendous. There we go. FYI. I'll send it to you now.
Which email? Gmail or my Outlook? Which one did you send it to?
Very good question, Greeny. I sent it to.
Don't dox.
Good call. Imagine if I read that. Gmail.
Your
full name. Fuck, that's funny. You said that the perfect. I was about to go. Yeah, David Smith.
David Smith. Let me open it as a non-attachment, then I can show it on stream. Okay. All right. So, do my tabs. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so on that left-hand side.
On the left. So where are we speaking on the Sunday?
The bottom left, I think.
Okay.
Another big one, I think. Is that at the front or the back?
I don't know. So hold on. We're speaking, what's it say? Live trade on the up and trade. Okay, so we're obviously not on the keynote theater. God damn, bro. We'll be there one day.
We'll be there one day. David, I'll be there one day, you dirty dog.
So then we're on the up trade. So we're on the file. I mean, these three look whale lounge. Hey, I should be walking in there with my stables.
I wonder what happens in the whale lounge.
I wonder what the determinant is of a whale. I wonder what the size is. Like $1,000 or.
Yeah, shit. You wouldn't want to take your phone or your laptop to that lounge, man. If you're going to do a robbery, that's the lounge you're visiting to take everyone's tech stuff. Fuck.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to have to be careful with what we take to this event, Greeny. By the way, everyone, if you're looking to scam me, I'm taking a Nokia 3210.
Yeah, brick.
And there's nothing you'll get from me, even if you cut my head off. So don't even think about it.
It should be sweet. I will get some footage hopefully as well. Should be lots of fun. Yeah, sweet. No, I'm excited. Should be lots of fun, guys. So if you are around, come and say good day. Grab a photo with us. Tag us on Twitter or wherever it is, Instagram, and we'll share it. So super excited for this. It's going to be a fun weekend. Hopefully, not too much partying, to be honest. It's going to be a business weekend for me, for sure. For sure. All right, Craig. Amazing stream with Seedphrase, guys. As we said earlier, if you're tuning in now, go back, watch the replay. You can watch the replay on Kick. You can watch the replay on YouTube, wherever you are, on Twitter as well. And Abstract Wolf game. It's nice to be a part of it. I'll be probably spending time. I mean, I got the weekend at home, so I probably will spend a bit of time trying to check it out and understand it. So
I see we got quite a few viewers at this time as well.
Yeah, I mean, the viewership's been decent. What's Twitter saying? I did reshare it once. What's reach? Yeah, so it's 366. I shared it once. Yeah, guys. We'll be giving away giveaways, so keep an eye on everything. And
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeet giveaway tomorrow as well.
yeah, we got Yeet. Hey, let's bring all the kick viewers in tomorrow. Let's bring in 1,000 kick views tomorrow. We're giving away 900 buckaroonies. 900 bucks. All right,
Now
Craig.
we jumped to 64K on Yeet. I'll sign us out, maybe Greeny.
Yeah, go for it.
Big shout out, obviously, to the OKX Legends. Obviously, we'll be repping them this whole weekend, next weekend coming. So come and check us out there. Links in description. You will get $75 of free Bitcoin if you sign up with them under our link and do a bit of trading. So big shout out to OKX and OKX Australia. They've been bloody legends with us. Also, Yeet have been legends. We're giving away $900 tomorrow. So obviously, if you want to participate in that, you just have to follow our ref link, do a bit of punting, bit of trading, bit of gambling. And they've got sports betting coming, Greeny, which is actually fucking sick. That's right up my alley now. So I'm big on that. So I actually sent them a message going, get rugby union on there, man. Fuck. I'll go.
Yeah. If they don't have worldwide sport, that's such a limitation. But Mando's a smart guy. Surely they've got worldwide.
Yeah, if they get that. But anyway, shout out to Yeet. We'll give away $900 tomorrow, guys. So pull up for that. That's a very generous amount of money to give away. Other than that, shout out to Everyday's Goat. Apparently, he got a bit hurt from the hail, so hopefully your goat heals soon. Shout out to Greeny's nemesis, who apparently he's going to freeze his funds when he hits I don't know what number. And shout out to Greeny. Shout out to Seedphrase, bloody legend, another Aussie. And viewers, thanks for watching us. Without you guys, we wouldn't have much to say. So I would have a lot to say, but not many ears. So thanks, guys. We'll see you back 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Cheers, Greeny. Thanks, legends.
Thank you, mate. Have a good night.